What is up, my viewers? Spang here, bringing you another real World of Tanks gameplay commentary. There we go. I said it. I messed up, but I recovered. This time it is another replay from Andrew Kai. He is sending in a Lowe replay with his buddy Nox84, both part of the MVP clan, although Nox is part of the MVP to a secondary division, from what I can gather. And this is a standard battle on Runeberg. For the most part, teams are even. But Andrew Kai's team does have a slight advantage, in my opinion. They do have one more tier 7, and not only that, their tier 6s are a bit better. But overall, it can still go anyone's way. The enemy can win, or his team can win. But if Andrew Kai shows a decent amount of skill like he did in that KV5 game, I am certain his team has at least a decent chance. Though one player able to make a difference does matter. One player is not a team. So I have seen Andrew Kai play with that KV5 replay. I will say he does have some skill, but as we all know, you cannot always be the single man team. Many of us have had to on many occasions, but it doesn't always work out. Now, Nox and Andrew Kai both looking at this little alleyway here. Nox probably going to get hit by artillery if he's not too careful. Kind of just standing out in the open, I have to say, not the smartest decision. Now, that Churchill 7 in a tier 8 match is pretty much useless. All I can do is go at 20 kilometers per hour with a gun that only has 144 penetration and really just get himself killed. So it looks like Churchill 7 says, I am not going to stick around for this battle. I am useless, and gets himself just, well, I don't know, define useless. He's a pretty good distraction right now. That KV4 looking at him instead of Andrew Kai in the Lowe. But the T50 managing to get into Andrew Kai's base, you know, looking like he's about to eliminate artillery, which Runeberg artillery does have somewhat limited effectiveness. The enemy team pushing right up the center, a significant force in the hill. The Lowe bouncing a shot right off of its turret. It does have a pretty potent turret. And let's see if Andrew Kai here will be able to hold off this onslaught of 4 enemy vehicles coming towards him. 3 tier 8s and a tier 6. Ooh boy, man, he is not in a good position. Though Nox does look to be in a good position to catch the enemy if they decide to run across the open. That KV4, not quite sure what he's doing. Nox apparently distracting him while Andrew Kai takes a very good shot at that MG turret mounted on the tank's turret. The SU-100 probably going to get himself killed right here if Nox... I was going to say if Nox and Andrew Kai can both hit them. What is the average damage on 320? I wasn't quite sure. It's been a while since I've looked. So the Lowe not exactly having a high damage gun, but it does have great penetration, and there is... I'm sorry for whatever that feedback was. I have no idea what just happened. The KV4 about to get himself killed if Andrew can play it just right. There we go. Again, not sure what's going on with that. I can only assume there's some glitch in the audio files. Please do your best to ignore it. There we go. Andrew Kai bouncing another shot. He did not send me in a post-game replay because, a post-game screenshot because he didn't save it. But the SU-100 certainly not going to get through the Lowe's turret armor. With only 175 penetration, that is not going to happen. Now, the enemy team is up by 3 kills, so obviously that tank advantage 4 kills not coming into much of an effect. The enemy team having a very, very strong presence in the town, just further solidified by the death of that other tank. Now they have a 5-tank lead. Let's see if we can reduce that to a 4-tank lead. There we go. Good job, Andrew. Though you certainly have your work cut out for you. The Ferdinand making that work a little lighter, and a T-34, a one-shot for whoever manages to get the hit. Though damaging that Ferdinand, the enemy team seeming to push a bit in the center, though it doesn't look as if there is anything coming from the zero line, the field. Though it does appear that Andrew's team has taken advantage of this, pushing around, and whatever that heavy tank is way back there. Now, Andrew's team is still down by 4 tanks. It is not looking good for his team. Though the Churchill 7 is pretty much useless in this match. So, really just a, 2-tank lead, because I don't count that T50 at this point. Okay, now up to a 3-tank lead. Like I said, the Churchill 7 really not a factor, barely alive. The T50 coming... also not a factor at this point in the match, really. more of a nuisance than anything. This Churchill 7 will get eliminated. Andrew Kai up to, I was going to say 4 kills, but apparently not yet. Making the wise decision, turning the corner to go engage this Churchill because he had tanks coming up on his rear end, and that is never a good thing. The SU-152, I'm sorry, not 152, 122-44, very different tank, though the same tier, strangely enough. I guess I wasn't completely wrong, but yes, the SU-122 managing to eliminate another tank, just closing that gap a bit more. The KV-3 definitely capable of handling a Lowe if played properly, though he does not seem as if he will. He's going to get shot there, and this Cromwell not really going to be able to do much to the Lowe either, though the IS-3 did just eliminate that SU-122, and it is going to be up to Andrew Kai and the IS-3, which is on the enemy's, well, coming back from the enemy's base. The Cromwell getting shot right there. The enemy really not putting Andrew Kai in a good position, though the IS-3 eliminating another IS-3. That is very important right there, though there is a second enemy IS-3 coming up on Andrew Kai. Andrew Kai taking the first damage of the round there, and ooh, there's the second one, the KV-3 shooting him in the back. Again, those weird noises. The T-50 proving to just be nothing but annoying, and hopefully this IS-3 will come to Andrew's aid because he really needs it at this point. And KV-1S hitting him for 300, I'm sorry, it's 390 average damage. I don't know how much damage he actually hit for right there. Ooh, Andrew bouncing a very lucky shot, but up to 4 kills at this point. Hopefully he can get himself another kill here with his IS-3, though he's going to aid this VK-3001, who will prove to be nothing more than a distraction to the IS-3. No, Andrew not going to aid. Very smart here. I can't believe I did not comment on this. Andrew needs to get back to his base so he can stop the capture. That is his only hope. He's going to have to switch to premium rounds here very shortly, simply because he does not have that many AP rounds. Lost due to being capped out, though well played by Andrew, not so much by his clanmate. Nox dying before he managed to get even a single kill. Unfortunate, but Andrew doing well for himself. I'm not sure how many credits or experience he earned, though I can only say he was about to die. If you look at the map, he had a tank both on his front, that KV-3, and a tank on his rear. I can only assume is that IS-3, and there was a T-34 on his base. The chances of him winning, if he had managed to somehow reset the cap, were still slim to none. Though the IS-3 on his team could have pulled a miracle win if he managed to reset the cap and maybe damage that KV-3 a bit more, and that IS-3 managed to get back to base. Though, looking at the minimap, I'm not quite sure where his IS-3 ally is at this moment. For some reason, he's not showing up. If his IS-3 ally had been a bit more useful, perhaps this match could have gone differently. Yes, he has 2 kills, so obviously he did something, but he didn't come to Andrew's aid when he was needed most. So I gotta fault the IS-3 a bit, and like I said, Nox, he did a decent job trying to flank the enemy team. He obviously distracted them, as we saw, but he didn't get a single kill, and he died too quickly to really deal out that much damage, so his effectiveness was limited as well. The T-34, kind of the same case there, not really getting a kill before he died. The Ferdinand doing something, but the enemy team, it is a, what is that, a 4 tank difference? Yeah. I mean, though granted, 2 of them are tier 6s, and 1 of them's a tier 4, so really just 1 tank lead if you really discount the tanks that don't have that much of an impact on tier 8 heavy hitters, such as the Lowe and the IS-3. So it still was doable had things gone slightly differently. However, they did not, so I guess there's no point in talking in what ifs. Yeah. So, unfortunate, but Andrew doing definitely a good job for himself. So, if you like this video, click that like button. If you want to see more, subscribe. And as always, if you got a replay, send it to spanglereplays@gmail.com. Email is in the description. And as I said in my previous video, lots of replays coming out in the next few days so I can start 8.3. This has been Spang, and I am signing off.